All right, what's up, fantasy football fam? The Ryan and Jacob show returns for our Week 7 recap. Traded in the Pure Leaf this week for a 11% veer because I have to look at this score again. And also to show the Pure Leaf that we can do a podcast without them if they want to not throw us the sponsorship. It's cool. So I just want to take a moment to say that the Old Town Toads, you can hear here today. We are officially tanking for Trevor. We see the season as it's kind of a lost cause, and so we're tanking for Trevor. And what a week! Go ahead, say what you got to say.
Great game by me. 140 yet again, up in those hundreds. And I didn't even have a tight end barely this week with John New with a 1.4. But Brady showed out. He did his thing. And across the way from him, Cam Newton got a negative, which I have not seen a negative from a position player in quite a while.
I don't think I have ever seen a quarterback finish a game with negative points. I really don't know if I ever have.
Well, he did get benched, I think, in the third quarter, fourth quarter maybe. But, yeah, 3 picks in that game. He could not move the ball. It was bad for Cam. But Tom Brady was the complete opposite. This dude was slanging. He was slanging the ball to anybody and everyone who wanted to catch the ball. But, yeah, my team just showed out. Alvin Kamara did his thing. Kareem Hunt did his thing. The trade paid off with James Robinson, 29.7. Great game by him to show that he belongs on my team. Yeah, just a great game. I mean, I don't want to push you too hard because you just had a bad week. Odell got hurt on the first pass attempt, and I don't even know how he got hurt. So, I've watched that replay so many times, and so many people said it's like a horrific injury. But I don't know what he did. It doesn't look like somebody tore his meniscus doing that. I don't know what happened in that play.
ACL.
Oh yeah, ACL. I don't know how he did it. I don't know. He jumped. I don't know. It was so weird. But
yeah.
that screwed you. Your kicker got 2 points. Your defense put on positive, so that's
positive
some
points from the defense, and that is an Old Town win.
That's a positive
Put
point.
a stamp on that as a win. If I can get a positive score for my defensive spot every week for the rest of the year, great.
Yeah, I just want to say something really quick before we go into this next game. You got your team did not do that bad. We were watching the 1 o'clock games together, and Boston Scott, of course, did his thing on Thursday, but Antonio Gibson was killing at 1 o'clock. Ridley was doing pretty well. Lamichael Pirine was, he got a touchdown. I was actually pretty nervous, during the 1 o'clock games, until Kareem Hunt got his fourth quarter touchdown, and then Tom Brady and James Robinson played, and it was kind of over. But you had some good starts, like Lamichael Pirine. I wouldn't have ever even known who that guy was if I wasn't playing him.
Yeah. The first few couple quarters of the first games, my team looked good, and then from there it was just not great. So let's get into a little bit of a closer game here. A 77 to a 71 victory. Now the fact that he can put up 77 points and win in a half PPR league, wow, my mind's blown. What do you think about this?
It was such a bad game for both these guys. And I don't want to rub salt on Chris's wounds, but if he had James Robinson, he would have won the game. Kenyon Drake, he played most of the game, and then he kind of got hurt. So hopefully he's got a speedy recovery, but I think he's out for a week or two. So I got rid of him pretty on time. But, I mean, Rudy's 5-2, and me and Lubassi and you were in the group chat saying we're not really that afraid of Rudy's team. He's put up some Jimmy scores and just have won the game, but he's going to start losing, I think.
Well, Jimmy did make the playoffs last year with those scores. So, I mean, I'd say Rudy has just about as good a shot as any. I don't know. His team, yeah, I agree. His team doesn't look that scary. He did have Mark Ingram on a bye, but he hasn't really been doing much this year. Chris's team, it just seems like he can't catch a break. He's had so many injuries and then fillers, and then Jerick McKinnon got hurt.
There's a negative .1.
Patriots defense with a -1. Kenyon Drake with an injury. I mean, he has Justin Herbert in there who went crazy. So
Look at that quarterback.
if we were playing just based off quarterbacks, Chris might win the ship. I mean, that was a solid week for Justin Herbert. But yeah, it's not looking good for Chris. He might be joining the Old Town Toads in the Tank for Trevor campaign. But a good win for Rudy here. It's crazy, but you pulled it off. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have Joey putting up the highest score of the year so far. I think you said the previous score was 154, so he beats it by about 2 points. Great week for Joey. Russell Wilson and Tyler Lockett went absolutely insane and then lost the game and lost me money, and that sucked. But a great week for Joey here. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, Lockett, 3 touchdowns. I mean, you can't. God, if somebody puts up 45 points and you lose, Herbert put up 38, but 45, 7 more points, which I think Chris would have won if Herbert put up 7 more points. But anyway, yeah, if you have a guy who puts up 45 points, that's hard to lose with that. And Johnny did his thing again. That century mark, he went up. Kyler did his thing. Chris Godwin got hurt in that game, but he got a nice 20 spot. And a great play by the Giants defense. That's 12, right?
What?
The
2.
What did Giants defense get? Oh, 2. Okay, I thought that was 12. So maybe not that great of a play. Yeah, not a great play. But David Johnson got a touchdown. So he did all right. I think Ronald Jones is actually losing his job to Leonard Fournette. I think I saw some timeshares there. So Ronald Jones has been really good for Johnny, but I think he's going to have to start looking for another running back slash flex play with that, just because with Fournette looking better, I think Tampa Bay is actually going to start using Fournette more. But I play Joey's team next week. I'm extremely afraid of his team, and I hope I win.
I think you should be afraid of his team unless you have another week like this week. But even if you do, you would have lost to him. So, yeah. I mean, good luck. He blew me wide open as well. So, I mean, this guy's got a scary team. For all the people that are still in the playoff race, this is going to be, I think, the team to beat. Just been putting up some pretty dominant performances up throughout the year, except for that 1 week that he slipped real bad.
He's got the lowest score and the highest score in the same season. He got 69 last week, and then he puts up a 156. That's stupid.
That was Russell Wilson's bye, right? So I think it was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was just the week before this one, right? We'll fact check.
I don't know.
Fact check after we.
Yeah, I'll fact check. You talk about this game.
All right. So Chewie versus Lubassi. This one was a nail biter. I think this one came down to the Monday night game. It did, with Chicago and LA. Chewie had David Montgomery, and Lubassi had Jimmy Graham, and he had another. No, it was just Jimmy Graham. So it was those two. Chewie just needed David Montgomery to get like 4 more points.
And Everett. Chewie had Everett.
Oh, he had Everett too, who got a touchdown, which Everett was a great play with Higbee being out, but I think Chewie actually has Higbee too. But yeah, this is a tough loss. I'm sure Chewie thought this one was very winnable going into Monday night, having the 2v1 with the score where it was at. Another tough week looking from Josh Allen versus the Jets defense. He looked horrible. Like, they didn't even score a single touchdown. They scored 6 field goals, and they missed 2. So they shot 8 field goals that game because they literally couldn't move it out of the red zone.
Yeah, and just going back to Joey's, that was Russell Wilson's bye. So that is probably why he did bad. But going back to this game, yeah, I mean, but it is kind of impressive that Josh Allen still got a 16.38 without any touchdown passes. So if you throw 2 in there, he's getting his projection, which is 24. So he did look bad. I mean, but he did still get a pretty – I mean, they were still slinging the ball because you can even see Stephon Diggs. Oh, Stephon Diggs didn't even do that well. But, yeah, that offense was stagnant. But Josh Allen did still do all right for points-wise. 16 isn't bad at all. But I think really – I mean – yeah, this was a very winnable game for Chewie. I thought this was going to be a blowout. I didn't think Lubassi would score more than 40 points just because his team looked so bad. And the crazy thing is, James Washington, I don't even think played a snap, and the Cowboys D got 1 point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had 1 point combined between two players.
and he still pulls it off. And I mean, that's a testament to the other people on his team. So if he can find kind of two people like a defense or a flex, his team will be scary. And he did do a trade with you. We'll talk about that towards the end, which I think really helps him out. But yeah, I think he did have a lot of buys. So he was fiending for a couple. He was hoping for a James Washington, but he had Henry Ruggs. I don't know why he didn't play him. I don't know why he thought James Washington was going to be that good when you have Deontay Johnson, Claypool back, and then Juju. He wasn't even going to get any snaps. I could have told him that, but he didn't ask for my opinion.
Yeah, dude. He definitely could have played Ruggs. I definitely would have made the same move. Like I said, tough loss for Chewie here. Good win for Lubassi. I know he has a couple tough weeks with his buys right now, so I'm sure he feels pretty good to get this win. And, yeah, we can talk about that trade in a little bit. Next, we'll get to Dom and James. This one wasn't so close, but it wasn't too far off either. One thing of note I will say is Ezekiel Elliott is not looking like a top 4 pick right now.
Top 2
pick right now. Well, pre-draft was top 4, I think. But, yeah, if he was second pick, then he's not looking like a second pick right now. The Cowboys' offensive line looks like shit. They're going through quarterbacks like it's nothing, and things aren't looking good for Zeke.
Yeah, if you want to click on his name, I don't even know if he was doing that well with Dak because they were always down and then they always had to like throw the ball. But I was really high on Zeke this year. He was doing pretty good till Dak. He was doing pretty good. I mean, I was really high on him, but yeah, now it's just a team. You got the third string probably going to start this week unless Dalton can get out of concussion protocol. Chris Carson gets hurt in this game, probably be out for at least a week. So whoever plays Dom next week should have, I don't want to say an easy. I think it's Jimmy because I think Dom texted me that we have the two best teams. So I actually hope Dom kind of wins this game. But I think it's going to be an easy win for Jimmy just because Carson's probably going to be out and Zeke's not going to he's not going to do that great. But Dom was lucky enough to get the dub here. James has had such a horrific year with injuries with Chubb. And then I don't even know what happened with Aaron Jones. He just I just saw Sunday that he was hurt and he wasn't playing. I don't know. I know it's like something to do with his leg or something, like his calf or something. But nothing was because I was about to trade Jones for I was looking at him like Wednesday, Thursday, and there's no injury report on him. And then all of a sudden on Sunday, he's out. So this awful injury concerns. A.J. Brown was probably out for the first 3 or 4 weeks. So his whole team has been out. Deshaun Jackson, I think, got hurt in that game in the second quarter. He did look good though, but I think something happened with his ankle. Somebody twisted his ankle. But just James is not. James is going to have a tough time swallowing this year because he had a great team on paper. Just everything went wrong.
Yeah, and then throws in the next Packers running back up, and he gets a 1.1. Chase Claypool, after that monster game, he comes back to life the next couple of weeks, puts up a 0.3 this week. Yeah, that's tough sledding for James. A.J. Brown went crazy, though, but that's kind of the only bright spot there. And it's yeah, good win for Dom, but like you said, he plays Jimmy next week. That's a tough road ahead. So speaking of Jimmy, who drops another bomb, Jimmy and Joey looking like the powerhouse teams right now, both sitting at 6-1. Aaron Rodgers looking like Aaron Rodgers out there. Tyreek Hill and DJ Moore going crazy. Waller the baller. And the Packers running back that James wished he had, Jamal Williams with a 19.4. This one was kind of just a tough one for Matt to win. I mean, he put up a 111, which is a great score too, but I mean, you just can't compete with that 143.
Yeah, I think what the biggest thing for Jimmy's success this week was DJ Moore. I mean, he hasn't been doing that great this year, but I think the past 2 weeks he's actually had, he's turned it on. And if DJ Moore can do there's no way that anybody, I think, beats Jimmy consistently at least. I think him and Joey, I think they still play each other this year, and I'm really excited to see when that is and when that game will be, and just to watch that game because it's going to be a very good game. But the only reason why Matt was in this game was one person, and that was Devontae Adams getting like 20
Dang.
touchdowns. But Mahomes 12 points, just not great for Patrick Mahomes. Keenan Allen did his thing. Like his last three kind of did their thing. But CeeDee Lamb and Darren Fells. We saw it with Lubassi's team. Two people with .1 points. So, if
Yeah.
Adams comes down to real life and gets 20 less points and gets an 18 or 20, Matt's score isn't that great. It's in the 90s or probably a little less than 90. But I don't know. It happens, I guess, but I don't think Matt had that great of a week. I think you're just kind of honing in on that Devontae Adams score.
Yeah, well, I was just looking at his total score, the 111, but you're right. It is weighted significantly by that 40-point drop from Devontae Adams. Um, to be noted, Patrick Mahomes did play in the Snow Bowl. That game was crazy cold looking, and conditions did not look great. So I do understand the 12 points from Pat Mahomes. I know that's not a normal thing to see, but I think that weather definitely had something to do with it. But yeah, I was talking to Matt a little bit earlier this week, and we both recognize that our teams are kind of a dumpster fire right now, and we're gonna meet each other on the consolation ladder. I'm sure. Can't wait.
Yeah, I wasn't saying Mahomes is going to be bad for the rest of the year. I'm just saying this score wasn't Mahomes. And I did forget about the snowball, so that is a good play. But maybe you sit him. I don't know. I don't know if I would have sat him just because of
No,
that.
you're
But
not
the
sitting
weather,
Pat Mahomes no matter what, dude. If
but
he
the
played
weather was
with
bad.
a broken finger or broken leg, I'd still play him.
But
I
look
mean,
at Joey there.
yeah, he did have Joe Burrow versus Cleveland, which I could have told you was going to be the highest scoring game of the week, and I think it was. Oh, well, actually, Seattle and Arizona tied it, so they tied for the highest scores. But, yeah, I
Actually,
don't know.
no.
That's
Wait, go down. The Jacksonville and Chargers scored 2 more points than them.
no way.
3 more points. 39-29.
39-29. This was 34-37.
Oh wait, so Cleveland and Cincy did 3 more points than them.
Yeah,
So yeah,
71.
you're still right.
Yeah, I
Yep.
know. Um, man, now I lost my train of thought. But yeah, no, I was gonna say it's that's still a tough call to sit Pat Mahomes, even if you got Joe Burrow on the bench. I can't blame Matt for that one. That would have been an interesting decision to make. So I do think we had a couple more trades. That I know we had at least one. Can't remember if there was another one. Nope, this must have been the most recent. So there's yours. I'm not sure if we talked about it last time, but the James Robinson, Zach Ertz one.
Yep, we did.
I didn't know if it was posted on there already. But so what did you think about this one with me and Lubassi here?
I don't know. I think first glance, I think Lubassi wins this trade. I think Jonathan Taylor has been super overrated this year. He gets the carries. He just hasn't performed. I was looking. I think he's like the 17th best running back in the league right now, and I would have expected him to be a little better just because he's been the starter from week one or half of week one at least. I think he gets a lot. He does get a lot of touches. I don't want to compare him to Kenyon Drake because I think Jonathan Taylor is better than Kenyon Drake. But it's kind of like Kenyon Drake. He gets a lot of carries. He gets a lot of touches, 20, 25 touches a game, but he's not doing that much with those touches. I think your highlight of this trade is Justin Jefferson. I think he's kind of a boss. He's pretty good. But for you to give up the number one wide receiver in the league and Miles Sanders, which was your first round pick or second round pick, but you had back to back, so kind of same thing. I think you could have got more, but I wasn't in the trade phones call. I wasn't in that spot. Miles Sanders is having trouble staying healthy, but to give him Boston Scott, I think you could have maybe kept Boston Scott, to be honest. I think Lubassi wins this. I think Boston Scott's the main driver because if you could have kept Boston Scott and gave him a throwaway, you could have had Boston start for the next week or two. But I don't know if Lubassi would have done that because I don't think he can wait for Miles Sanders. So
That was
I don't know.
why. Because Miles Sanders is injured now. And
Right.
he's supposed to come back this week, but who knows? So I had to throw Boston Scott in there to make it happen. My thoughts here is that Calvin Ridley's schedule isn't as good as it has been the beginning of the season. It's not terrible, but I think Justin Jefferson is going to just continue to come alive. He's been absolutely destroying. His bye week's done. Both of their bye weeks are gone. I think this was just kind of a almost even trade. I could see where Lubassi gets a little edge here, but I had to make some sort of move because, I mean, my team's in the shitter anyway.
You like Jonathan Taylor that much?
I think he's a workhorse back, and
He doesn't do anything with it yet.
he's played some tough comp. They played the Bears, which is like the number one rush defense. So,
That's 1 out of 7 games he's played.
well, there was some other good competition in there. We don't need to get into the specifics. I'm just saying.
I'm getting into the specifics.
This is a good trade for me to make my push towards the consolation victory. So
Taylor's played the Jacksonville defense, the Minnesota defense, which was his best game at 18, the Jets defense, the Bears defense, Okay, there's one good defense that I just said.
And he's been having pretty respectable scores.
Not for a work. I'm just saying, not for a work back horse.
A work back
21st
horse.
best running back, and to be the 21st best running back and be a workhorse, that's a little overrated in my book. But I do like the Justin Jefferson that you got him. I think he's really good, and I think he's going to be good for a lot of years. And in Minnesota.
Dare I say that Justin Jefferson finishes the year ahead of Calvin Ridley? Maybe. I don't know.
Jefferson's 15th best right now. Ridley's first best.
Bold prediction on the board? Maybe. We'll see. And I don't know. I've never really Miles Sanders has got me some pretty decent scores, but I don't know. I've just never really we haven't really clicked.
Bossie's playing Ruggs this week.
Yeah, he learned his lesson.
He's playing the Titans D versus the Bengals.
James Washington on the bench. But we can talk about that if we actually finally get a look ahead episode out.
James to win that game.
So I think that was our only trade this week. Let's take a quick peek at the standings here.
I'm still up the most points. Joey, I think I'm down, I'm up 13 from Joey.
Yep. And your team is significantly worse than his, so that's crazy.
Look at my points against.
You got the most by a lot? Oh, you don't even have the most. Matt does.
Wow, Matt does.
Oh, and I have the second most points against. So, dude, quit complaining. That's why I'm losing.
Because my 140 I put on your ass. Literally, the two that are on top right there are the two. Well, I guess Jimmy outscored. No, Joey outscored. Who is Joey playing? Who'd Joey play? See, we already forgot.
Johnny.
Okay, so Johnny wasn't there. But you played me, and then Matt played Jimmy, who both put up 140 or higher. All right,
well, nonetheless, because neither of our teams are going anywhere, so let's actually talk about some teams that matter. So we got Joey and Jimmy sitting atop each division at 6-1. Easily, I think the two best teams as it stands right now. Rudy in second place over here in the West, which we kind of talked about. He's kind of jimmied his way into second place here, so to speak. So we'll see if that continues. Lubassi over here sneaks into second place in the East. His team's looking hot right now. Johnny's team's not looking bad. It's a pretty tight race in the middle, I'd say. Me, Matt, and Chris, I think, and James are the four of us, I think, are well out of this race at this point. What do you think about where you stand here?
I think 2-5 teams still have a chance, but the 2-5 teams and Chris don't have like a good team. So, but I think if you're two
Yeah.
and five and you win out, I think you're in the playoffs with an 8-5 record. But you have to win out. Like to be 2-5, you have to win out. That's why I really did not want to be 2-5 because that means you have to win out. So I'm giving myself one more loss, and I think I play Joey once, and then Dom once, and then Lubassi one more time. So and then I got you, Matt, and Chris. So hopefully those three are easy. So I'm hoping the Dom, Lubassi, and Joey, I can get just one loss in there. I think 8-5 does it just because of look how close we are. I think Rudy falls off. I think me, Chewie, Dom, Johnny, and Salty or Lubassi are fighting for 2 spots. And I like the position. I wish I was 4-3, but I'm 3-4. But I still like my position. I think those 5 people should like their position. I think it's now just about winning games. I
It's
think
always about
Johnny
winning games, but
Right. I think Johnny's team is kind of trending downward direction, just because of what I said about Ronald Jones, but he still has Kyler. So I'm just saying that maybe his team is hopefully going downwards, and I'm going to shoot past him next week. But I like my position. I'm still in the race. I'm not tanking for Trevor Lawrence and tweeting that out. So I like where I'm at.
Trevor Lawrence is going to be an Old Town Toad one day, and when we win the championship next year, we're going to hold this season up as a win too because it got us there.
This isn't a dynasty league, right?
Dude, just let me live the fantasy, all right? It's a freaking joke, okay? Obviously, I'm not tanking for Trevor Lawrence. We don't have a fucking
You've been pretty
NFL
serious,
draft.
though.
Yeah, because it's just called a running joke, you know? And now that I'm talking
I think
about it, you're ruining it.
I think your team's got a shot. You beat Chewie.
I
You're
beat
three and
Chewie once
five.
this year already, but my team looks like hot garbage.
But if you do that, I think you got a shot.
Okay, all I care about doing is ruining your playoff hopes the last game of the season. That's all that
I need
matters
to
to
get
me.
there though.
That's all that we're hyping the team up for the last game of the year, no matter what. Even if you're not even in the running, I want to win that game just to say that we split and you didn't beat me twice.
I destroyed you.
Yeah, well, the
I didn't
Michael
beat
P.
you.
Ryan didn't score 2 touchdowns. So,
I didn't beat you. I destroyed
all
you.
right. Well, anyway, this has been a great recap. I think we should just move on from this week and never talk about it again. Um, good luck to all the teams for next week. We will try our best to get a look ahead episode out. No, we've been slacking on that, but hopefully we can get one squeezed in this week. So a great week 7 for some people, definitely not me, but the Corona Cup still up for grabs. See you guys next time.
Peace.